So 21st century skills are a set of skills that have been really recognized within the last 15 years or so. According to CASE, the Center for the Advancement of Informal Science Education, 21st century skills are skills that are important for preparing young people to enter the 21st century STEM workforce and are important for all people to engage in a 21st century world. MHA Labs, which is a community collaboration out of Chicago who's done a ton of work in 21st century skills, noted that practitioners, researchers, and policymakers have yet to agree on a term to encompass a range of interpersonal, intrapersonal, and cognitive skills. 21st century skills was chosen as a term to highlight the shift from the more structured 20th century basic skills economy to a more fragmented 21st century high skilled economy. And there isn't one agreed upon definition for what these skills are. You'll see different sets of them in different places, but they're kind of organized around the similar concepts. Two of the most prevalent organizations working with 21st century skills are MHA Labs, as well as the Partnership for the 21st Century Learning. And the partnership organizes 21st century skills under 4 sections. The first is key subject and 21st century themes. The second is learning and innovation skills. The third is information, media, and technology skills. And the fourth is life and career skills. MHA Labs organizes under 6 different building blocks, which are personal mindset, planning for success, social awareness, verbal communication, collaboration, and problem solving. And within those 6 building blocks are 35 core social, emotional, and cognitive skills that they've developed. So within each of those, there are, of course, those 35 skills. Within problem solving, there's a total of 6, but I've selected 2 just to highlight what those might look like within the building block. And these skills that I've chosen are as follows. 1 defines problems by considering all potential parts and related causes. And 1 gathers and organizes relevant information about a problem from multiple sources. So then in order to measure 21st century skills, it's a little challenging because again, there isn't one agreed upon set of 21st century skills. But there are a couple different ways that folks are trying to assess the intrapersonal, the interpersonal, and the kind of social and emotional skills that folks are developing. Self-report surveys and observations are probably the 2 most common ways that folks are attempting to do this. And MHA Labs has produced an observational checklist called the Human Achievement Quotient that can be used in formative assessment. And I'll be linking that within our Slack. But it is important to recognize that there's a lack of valid instruments to collect data on informal STEM learning, out of school learning in regards to 21st century skills. So Rack Nelson has reported that existing instruments may have been tested in formal learning environments, maybe with adults only with kind of a career focus, maybe in a context that's not super applicable to other out of school learning contexts, like for a summer camp, or may not have been adequately validated. So that is something that's recognized by the field. And in response to that, Sondergeld and Johnson created the 21st Century Skills Assessment to fill the gap. This is an observation method with a rubric to gauge student development across 6 learning domains, which are creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, communication, collaboration, social and cross-cultural skills, information, media, and technological literacy, flexibility, adaptability, initiative, and self-direction, and productivity, accountability, leadership, and responsibility. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of skills that we are looking at here. So if you are interested in looking at 21st century skills, one of your first steps might be to isolate what specific skills or what domains you're most interested in looking at. Trying to do all of them is probably trying to boil the ocean. So I would definitely recommend narrowing in on the ones that are most relevant to your work. And it's also important to recognize that typically if you're using assessment as a means to improve your practice and just kind of get more information on your program for your own purposes, not to publish, not to produce something that's more generalizable for the community, I would say that don't worry too much about using specific validated instruments. Definitely take inspiration from them. If they apply, definitely use them. But if they don't, typically evaluators will develop tools specifically for the program that they are assessing. So don't worry too much about relying on those alone. You can definitely take inspiration and play around with them a bit. So I hope you learned a little bit today about 21st century skills, how you might include them in your programs, and how you might assess them for improvement.